Abby Barmore now taking your questions in the mailbag as Abby is still with us here. Abby, where are you going to start us out with?
All right, first one. Do you think that Daniel Kalen gets a bump up to a 4-star during his senior year, and could he go off during his final year of high school at Bellevue West? And he has a lot of, highly ranked wide receivers. How can that help him?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, he's right at the top of the 3-star, and I know it's led to some debate, like why are Husker fans acting like this is a big time addition? He's a 3-star quarterback, and I mean he's like the highest ranked 3-star. So it's like amazing if he just slotted up like 1 or 2 more positions in the QB rankings, he would be a 4-star. So it's hard to say. A lot of it will be his season and what he does and how it looks, and I don't know what other events he's going to take part in this summer, if he's doing any 7-on-7 or places where he might be seen. But he's a quality quarterback. He's, one of the top, there's 65, 70 Power 5 schools now. He's the 27th ranked quarterback in the country.
Yeah. And really doesn't matter. I mean, he's committed. Nebraska got him, and what he's rated when all's said and done, like, who cares at this point?
That's a good point, Rob.
Like, if you're trying to get offers, stars matter.
Yeah.
But if you've already found your school, like, just do your thing, Daniel. Don't worry.
He has a big season under his belt. 38 touchdowns, 7 picks, 3,689 yards. I mean, he's done what he's done. Now, could he improve on that? Yeah, but I'm with Rob. Does it if he gets a star or not? It doesn't change my perception.
And the fact, like what Sean said, like we're talking about like semantics here, where like he's as close to being a 4-star as possible. So you're going to downgrade him because he's a 3-star, but if he was slotted 2 spots higher, he'd be a 4-star. Like, what are we talking about?
Right. This is, real talk. Daniel Kalen knows the score here. He was a second choice. Of course he was a second choice. I mean, that it was the number 1 quarterback in the country that Nebraska had a chance to get. All this is good. All this is perfect for Daniel Kalen. And they knew the one big takeaway, Sean, getting away from the star talk, is Bellevue West, Huffman, Kalen, they knew exactly where they stood because Rule told them right away. Michael Huffman went to Rule in January and said, okay, how are you going to handle this? Kalen and Raiola, how are we going to do this? Rule said, we have a guy we're trying to get, okay? And if that doesn't work, we're going to you. It didn't work with Raiola. They went right to Daniel Kalen. Stars, I don't care.
Okay,
it doesn't matter to me.
To give you a better taste of the numbers, the On3 industry ranking, which is all the rankings combined into one, has him number 27 in the quarterbacks. The 4-star quarterbacks start at number 23.
Okay.
So there's 3 quarterbacks ahead of him until you get to the 4-star level. So he's right there.
Yeah, and I get it. I know some people look at that and say,
changes their life if they have a 4-star.
Well, I don't want to say, I'm not going to be disparaging it. I mean, there's some prestige attached to being a 4-star. I understand all that. But Rob's right. Once you got the player, it doesn't matter
at
that
that
much.
point. It's just a star.
Right.
All right, next I have a series of under-over questions. So we'll go one by one. Thomas Fedoni, do you think he'll have over 250 yards or under?
I said over.
Yeah, 250 seems light.
I mean, he could have 100 in a game.
Right.
I mean, and that's
250 struck me as light.
Yeah.
Light.
I thought 400 would be a better barometer to go with, or 400. I mean, but 250 seems like a likely number.
Don't you think that he could be their go-to tight end?
Yes.
That's what I'm expecting.
They want him to be their go-to tight end. Yeah.
All right, next. Princewell Umanyalan, does he have over or under 5 sacks next season?
That's a lot for a true freshman.
I said under. Maybe not by much, but
we're agreeing too much here. That's a lot.
I feel like these numbers were too obvious. They weren't. This is from the chat this week, and they weren't like really that hard to say over on. I mean, I think there were numbers that we
disagreed on some. I think the next 2 we might have some disagreements.
Okay, the next one, Anthony Grant, over under 5 touchdowns.
Over.
See, I said under.
Really? Because you think they're going to lean on Irvin?
I think they're going to run the QB a lot in the red zone. I think they're going to give Irvin the ball a lot on the goal line.
I still believe that Anthony Grant.
I think they're going to throw the ball on the goal line.
I believe that Anthony Grant is their best running back until I'm proven otherwise. Is there anybody on the roster you'd say he's looked better than Anthony Grant?
In their best moments, no. Ramir Johnson in his best moments, Gabe Urban have not looked better. AJ Allen, you could argue in his best moments,
He's
danced with Anthony Grant when he was here.
Yeah.
But different show, different coach, different offense. We'll see.
All right, what do you got next?
All right, our last one, Malcolm Hartzog, 3 interceptions under over.
That's a tough number.
I said under.
I'll just say under because
3 picks is a lot.
It is. I took the easy way out and said push. Three sounds perfect.
Now he will be their quote unquote number 2 corner. Could be their number 2 corner, which means more volume of throws his way, which means more opportunities for picks. So,
you know what's interesting about
maybe
that?
teams are going to try to test him because he's a small corner out there. And he made teams pay for doing that last year.
I wonder how long he will be their number 2 corner. I wonder if there's a point where you look at Hartzog and say, no, he's their best corner. And Newsom's a good player. Quentin Newsom, who's clearly he's going to be a starter. But I don't think Hartzog's too far behind that.
Define best, though.
Oh,
So remember, like Prince, no one would throw him the ball. And so, like, Dennard got all the stats.
True.
Because people were they had to throw to him. They weren't throwing to Prince.
Right.
And so, I'm not saying Quentin Newsom's Prince, whatever his name is.
Kamara.
Thank you. But this is a guy that 2 coaching staffs now have said is an NFL corner. So
Newsom. Yeah.
All right, what do you got next?
All right, so single game tickets went on sale on Wednesday for Colorado. How many Husker fans do you think will be in Boulder at the game?
that was quite the scene today. I don't know if you followed that
No.
the tickets went on sale today to the public at 11 a.m. Central. And for one, as you might expect, the Colorado ticket website was just flooded. And they were doing only online purchases. Like you couldn't call, you couldn't do in-person purchase. And so there was like, people were waiting there for almost close to an hour, even to just get the chance to buy a ticket. And once they got there, like if you wanted 2 seats together, you're looking like $700 a pop.
So the Colorado ticket office is basically selling the tickets at a scalper's price.
And there's a lot of people that were trying to buy tickets from a Nebraska billing address that said they couldn't get the thing to go through. But people from out of state billing addresses had no problems whatsoever.
Oh boy.
Conspiracies for days.
Well, 1/3 the stadium is a
Interesting.
conservative estimate for how many Nebraska fans will
I
be
think
there.
that's very
I think
conservative.
15,000 for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Because this is just the initial public sale. Like the secondary market is like, that's a whole nother wave of tickets that are going to be purchased, especially if they are denying Nebraska billing addresses from buying tickets.
It will be we say this all the time, but it's almost become a stock phrase. It's going to be a wild scene.
Even at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. It was pretty wild the last time. It was.
it was hot too, remember?
Yeah. I remember very vividly. Yeah. It was hot on the field.
All right, we've got time, Abby, for 2 more.
Okay. How do you think that Husker baseball will do in the Big Ten tournament this week?
Well, they're playing their first game as we're taping this show, so that kind of dictates a lot of things. I think they're going to win a couple, but they're not going to have enough to finish.
Yeah, they're not built to lose this game and have to
Come out of
play
it.
their way on the back end of
Pitching.
the tournament. Yeah, because they don't have the
Not deep
pitching.
pitching.
They need
don't
to
have
be
deep
front
pitching.
runners,
Yeah.
basically from start to finish.
Stay on schedule.
That being said, I'm not holding my breath on that.
There's
ahead,
just not a lot of buzz. I mean, with all this right now, I mean, I just think a lot of the fans, when you lose to North Dakota State, South Dakota State, UNO, Creighton, there's just not as much momentum with a fan base right now that wants to get behind this, but you haven't given them a lot. There's been some moments this year, but there hasn't been that consistency that will fill that stadium necessarily unless they can win these first couple games.
Well,
The crowd today is pretty good.
The other part of that is they're out of NCAA at-large bid contention. When it became clear that they're not an NCAA at-large bid, they're out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of the wind out of the sails. If they were in contention for an NCAA at-large bid, we'd be following it very closely. They got to win it. They got to win the tournament. Now, if they get to the championship game, I bet the fan base does an about face almost like, oh, wait a second, they're in the championship game, 20,000 people in the stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cheering for Nebraska to get to the NCAA tournament. Then it could change really fast. The dynamic could be really interesting this weekend. If they get to the championship, the state will be watching, right?
Yeah. They got to take care of today first. We'll see.
All
The
right.
shelf life of this conversation in
Yeah.
a few hours.
Final question, Abby.
What chain restaurant that is not currently in Nebraska would you like to see at a location in Lincoln?
Bob Evans, 100%.
I'm a Portillo's guy myself.
I'm sorry.
Portillo's.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a good.
And they do have one in Iowa. There's like a Cedar.
Is that-
Our friend Tom Kakert of Hawkeye Report lives in Davenport,
Mhm.
right in the Quad Cities there. They have one there. So I would go for Portillo's, hot Italian beef sandwich, Chicago dog.
Okay. Bob Evans, just a very good breakfast type place.
Went there next to the Detroit Airport Marriott.
You walked over there by yourself.
I did.
You were solo.
Yeah.
On a gray, dingy day, you
And
made it over to Bob
It was
Evans.
delicious. I'd never had Bob Evans. So
You back
credit for that. My pick, I remember answering this question. I went with Freebird's World Burrito. It's I guess you could call it Chipotle style
It was like the original Chipotle.
of place. Yeah, it's based in Texas. Austin,
College
Texas.
Station, Austin.
Yeah,
That sounds
it
great,
is phenomenal.
I ate
Sounds
there
great.
like 20 some
Phenomenal.
years. I got introduced to that like 20 some years ago. I was in College Station, I believe, or Austin, and we had it there. And that
Free birds.
So good.
Bob, what about you, Abby? What do you think?
I got a couple. One is Dutch Bros. It's like a coffee chain. They have it in Colorado where my cousins live. It's so good.
What's
And
so good
then-
about it?
Their coffee? I don't know.
Tastes good.
I'm a big coffee person.
Okay. All right. Well,
It's
I
way
mean-
better than Starbucks, but I think everything is.
Well,
Um,
hello.
Also,
Well, there goes our sponsorship
wow.
deal.
Sorry,
I've been working
Starbucks.
on all summer.
I really like their Americanos.
I mean, actually, it's great. Also Fuzzies. I would love to see another Fuzzies here. I know that
Okay.
it went down during COVID, but I loved going there in college.
taco place?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they have really good margaritas.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Fuzzy's tacos.
We lost some good like Burger Fi. We lost during COVID right across. That was a good little option down here. We lost Jimmy John's. I mean, what Jimmy John's doesn't make it? We lost the one here in the Haymarket.
No,
We did.
Place
Yeah.
is cleared out.
It was
Bummer.
a great option to have that, just to walk over there and grab that
Sure.
when you were in a hurry. But give me my Portillo's.
Okay, Sean.
Oh, Walk-On's Bistro Sports Bar. That's the one that we saw in Purdue that Drew Brees owns. They're putting one of those in Gretna.
Nice.
Oh, they are.
Yes.
Okay.
So that
That's a
will
good
be
little
Say the
spot.
name of the operation again.
Walk-Ons.
Walk-ons.
I mean, it's a Southern Louisiana, Texas-based upscale sports bar chain that serves, like Buzzard Billy's type food,
Okay.
Cajun food. So
It's a sports bistro spelled Bistreaux.
Okay.
It's a
All
long
right, let's
way.
give it that real Cajun flair.
Ah,